Good evening, you're watching SG News, I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, another blow to the High Street as House of Fraser announces plans to close stores in our region, Hull's Walton Street Market closes, and progress at Hull Venue. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to our very own Luke on the local arts scene, and before that, Mark Morris on raising funds for Lindsay Lodge Hospice. House of Fraser has announced it plans to close several of its stores in our region by next year. Grimsby, Hull and Lincoln's stores have been earmarked for closure as part of a major rescue deal. If the move is approved, 31 of its 59 stores will close, putting 6,000 jobs at risk. The company needs the approval of 75% of its creditors to go ahead. The retailer is seeking a 70% reduction in rent for 7 months on the affected stores. And meanwhile, Hull's Walton Street Market has ceased trading. The operators have encountered severe financial difficulties, forcing Hull City Council to bring the operating licence to an end. The local authority is now looking for a new operator to run the bi-weekly market before reviewing its options. Hull's new state-of-the-art entertainments venue is almost ready to open. The £36 million Hull venue is expected to see high-profile events and acts when it opens in the summer. Our reporter Jack Muscat went behind the scenes.
Back in November, Hull Venue was merely a construction site. Now with the diggers cleared and the seating installed, this is what it looks like today. With the building work now complete, I went for a look round Hull's newest entertainment complex, where I caught up with General Manager Dan Harris.
Yeah, it's great to be on site without a hard hat and a yellow vest, and in our civvy clothes with a cup of tea and a biscuit. So yeah, it's great. It feels really exciting. After 90 plus weeks of construction, here we are with the building ready almost for events. So yeah, it's really exciting, really exciting. The schedule is where it has always planned to be at. So, of course, with any new building, there's a period where we test the building and make sure everything is working properly. So we're about to enter that period. So we're fortunate that we've got some time to do that. And then we will be having some test events in July, which we'll be announcing shortly. And then we'll have our opening show later in the summer, late August, and then we go into our kind of season from September onwards, so all good.
The venue hasn't announced an opening act yet, but the likes of Jack White, George Ezra, Madness and Boy George are on the billing here at Hull Venue, due to open in the next couple of months. After more than 18 months of construction and costing a cool £36 million to build, does the leader of Hull City Council, Stephen Brady, see the investment as good value for money?
It's worth every penny looking at it today, and the capabilities of the arena is just fantastic. And the other thing that the people who come here to watch the shows are going to see the intimacy of the place, and they're actually not unlike some of the other arenas around the country. This one, everybody will be able to see the artist clearly on the stage. So. You won't have to look at a TV screen to actually see the artist in action, which is what it's all about really. It's about live entertainment, and I'm sure when the public get a chance to look around, which they will do shortly, they will be amazed at the ability of this place to either be small or large, and yeah, it's going to be good.
Rita Ashoa was involved in the initial sketches for the building's design. She talked me through how the whole design process came about.
We started with an existing site in the city centre. Being on the city centre, it has a lot of things we need to control in terms of the context, accesses, heights, etc., volumes. But we knew we had to create a cultural landmark as a legacy. This is not an office building, this is not a residential building, this is a building for culture, for music, for fun, for party, and that needs to have its own identity. So we did a lot of research. We had hundreds of different sketches, different ideas, until we achieved what we were comfortable with the client, with the council, what would be could be translated as a whole landmark for culture. It's mainly designed to welcome everyone, so it's an open front. It's a building that expresses what goes inside, so you understand that the only way you can accommodate in auditorium is in the gold curve that sits outside, and it's to give you that element of surprise, of uniqueness that is so characteristic on this building.
To have a city centre buzzing on a night time is what we've always wanted in the city. It's been sort of too quiet for too long, and now the investments that we've made is making businesses wake up, invest, and we're seeing that on a big scale. This was once a derelict area of the city centre for many, many years, and to see the look from outside, it just looks absolutely fabulous, and I'm really proud of my colleagues, really proud of the officers who've worked so hard to deliver it.
With a maximum capacity of up to 3,500 people, Hull Venue is set to open its doors to the public in August, with the official opening date to be confirmed shortly. Jack Muscat, Estuary News.
A man has been jailed for his role in football disorder that broke out during a pre-season friendly match in July 2016. Bottles were thrown at the game between Grimsby Town and Sheffield United at Blundell Park. 22-year-old Macaulay Robinson was jailed for 12 months after admitting violent disorder and 2 unrelated sexual assault offences. He also received a 6-year football banning order, and he'll be placed on the sex offenders register. Officers from Lincolnshire Police will be carrying out random checks on drivers as part of the force's summer drink and drug driving campaign. In Lincolnshire, around 100 drivers are stopped and tested each month on suspicion of being under the influence of alcohol. Around 80% of those test positive for being under the influence of alcohol and 20% being under the influence of drugs. More than 5,000 motorists were breathalyzed last year, with 10% testing positive for alcohol and 58% positive for drugs. The campaign runs until the 15th of July. East Riding Council has launched the East Riding Economic Strategy. The document will be a blueprint for economic activity in the county over the next 5 years, with the aim of promoting growth in all parts of the East Riding. It'll build on the East Riding's knowledge in food, manufacturing and the renewable energy sector. The strategy identifies 4 priorities in line with government targets to build a Britain for the future. These include a sustainable economy and lifelong learning across the county. Now, a teacher from Brigg is set to take on an ultra-marathon, more than that in fact, to raise funds for Lindsay Lodge Hospice in North Lincolnshire. Mark Morris is with me now to tell me more. Mark, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, an ultra-marathon, I think that's a bit of an understatement. Tell us exactly what it is that you intend to do.
Let me start from the beginning. Basically, my mother, she sadly passed away with cancer 2 years ago, and ever since then I've been raising funds for the Lindsay Lodge Hospice in Scunthorpe. They're absolutely amazing, you know, looking after people with cancer and all sorts of things. And since then I've just been raising money. I've done 3. This is my 3rd challenge. My first challenge was a series of marathons and half marathons raising money for the hospice. I did the hard Hell on the Humber. Last year, basically, it's a 12-hour run across the Humber Bridge and back.
Just to see how many times you cross the bridge in 12 hours?
Yes, so many times I can...
how many times did you cross the bridge?
I managed to run 57 miles on that in 12 hours, so it's quite a long trek, and it's through the night, so it's been funny. I quite enjoyed it, but in a sad kind of way. But,
massively expensive in tolls.
Yes, well, it went down. It's £1.50 from £3, so I was quite happy about that. But... you know, it's just really raising funds and giving something back to the hospice who, you know, like I said, supported my mum and my dad and my family throughout the experience I went through, sadly, with my mum. This year, I'm doing a challenge. I'm doing the Hell on the Humber again. I'm doing a series of ultramarathons, the Great North Run, but a week on Saturday, I'm doing the Wall Ultramarathon, which just runs from Carlisle to Newcastle, 69 miles next door to Hadrian's Wall.
So you're running the length of Hadrian's Wall?
Yes, and that's basically starting at 7 in the morning.
Coast to coast, across the country, across the island?
Yeah, basically self-sufficient with my pack on my back. Having to carry waterproof safety stuff, you know, all the things, phone and food and everything.
Now, this isn't... Are you going to be stopping for a sleep and a meal every now and then?
No, I've got to keep going all the way through. There's a time limit of 24 hours. There are a number of pit stops on the way, but yeah, it's going to be fun, I think, going all that way.
Well,
so.
70 miles
Yeah.
and you say about 15 hours, you think?
It's 24 hours, but I'm open for 15, so, you know, with a couple of stops on the way. So, like I said, I'm self-sufficient. I've got to carry everything in my back, so yeah, it's going to be fun. Like I said to
You
before,
say it's
I'm
going to
looking
be fun, but...
to be fair, I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's something that I do go out running every morning, as my wife will attest to, and my boys. But I do go out running every morning and but get about 5:30, an average about 120 kilometres a week. So, you know, something that I do like doing. You have to train hard for it if you want to do something like that.
If
so.
people, you are raising money for the,
Yes,
for the
I am,
hospice,
yeah.
so if people would like to sponsor you or provide money, how do they get in touch?
Basically, I've got a Just Giving page. It's justgiving.com, Mark Morris /22. But like I say, can I give you the information on that to make, you know, to post somewhere on the website or the social media or something like that? To,
yes, if you whatever, however anybody can contact you. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I say, I do work at the Oasis Academy in Birmingham. I am a teacher there, and it's on our website and on our Facebook page and our Twitter account. We do have the pages on there, so you know there's quite a lot of information that goes on there.
So you obviously are very highly trained for this. I've been to Scotland in the summer, or to Northern England,
Yes.
wherever Hadrian's Wall is, pretty much on the border, and the weather can be absolutely vile in July.
Yeah, we were looking at the weather, and it is the middle of the year. It's near the longest day, which is obviously the 21st of June. And this year it's meant to be one of the hottest days on record. And I've just read that there's I'm asthmatic, so I've read that there's a hay fever and a pollen count coming over and all sorts of things coming. So I just fingers crossed. I just want to get round to it.
You'll endure it, Mark. You'll endure it.
Well
done for doing that, and good luck with it.
Thank you very
much for coming in.
No, thank you.
Join me after the break. Jack will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to our very own Luke about the local arts. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us a roundup of all the latest sports news and all the latest from the local arts scene with our very own Luke. The search is on for a private company to take over 4 key attractions in Cleethorpes. North East Lincolnshire Council is putting Meridian Showground, the Discovery Centre, Sandpit and Paddling Pool out for tender in a bid to save around £90,000 from the council's budget for this year. Meridian Showground is offered as a 10-year concession, with any new provider having to honour existing bookings. The other 3 attractions will be offered as a single lot, with any new provider taking on the full management of all these facilities for 10 years. The new provider must continue to offer the same family-friendly facilities for visitors and residents. The tender is open until the 19th of July at 12 noon. A new mural has been unveiled in Cottingham Memorial Gardens in remembrance of people who lived during the First World War. The mural was created by local artist Andy P., along with pupils from Hallgate Primary School. Fred McNamara brings us the story.
260 pupils from Cottingham's Hallgate Primary School have painted pebbles in the shape of poppies. They're in remembrance of those who served in World War I and accompany a new mural in Cottingham's Memorial Garden.
The story behind the mural was when the parish council took over the Memorial Gardens, which was in 2016, we decided to make it a place where people could come, they could sit and reflect, and we came up with the idea of putting a mural on the back of the wall to reflect the wars and what people had lost and how many people had been lost in the wars. We had an open day asking the residents of Cottingham if they would come up with ideas of what they would like on there, and we came up with those ideas there of soldiers, planes and poppies.
These sort of things, it's a joy to do. It's a joy to work. Sometimes you sit in your studio painting pictures all day long, but when you get the chance to do something like this for the people, you know, for the community, it's so much more rewarding for me. While I was painting, I was chatting to an old lad called. A young lad called Eric Grantham, 92 years young, and he explained a whole load of the local history to me. And so from that I thought, actually, we've got that age group involved, let's get another generation, let's make it totally intergenerational. So the idea came to just, you know, we thought if we got them to paint the poppies, it would be a really interesting way of getting them down and creating that conversation, which these sort of things do, these murals.
And we ask each child to get a pebble from the garden or the beach and to paint a poppy, and then to be here on this day when we officially open the mural. It's for the village, it's for the people in the village. The gardens now belong back to the village. At first it was under the remit of the East Riding Council. A gentleman over the road, I've been told, at the end of 1920s had the house over the road and wanted a garden, but didn't want it to be built on opposite, so he bought the memorial gardens and gave it to the village.
By connecting the younger generation to the past, this new mural ensures that Cottingham Memorial Garden is a garden for all. From McNamara, Estuary News.
A deaf Staffordshire Bull Terrier has found a loving new home in Grimsby. Cassie was pregnant when she was picked up by North East Lincolnshire Council's Community Protection and Compliance team. She'd been reported as a stray, and the person they collected her from claimed to have found her. She was taken to Sangreek Kennels in Brigg for care and has now found a loving new home with a retired couple. And I'm joined now by our very own Luke with a roundup of what's happening in the local entertainment industry. Luke, hello.
Good evening, you. Happy Thursday. I'm
you.
another year older since you last saw me, but hopefully
happy birthday for the
Thank you very much. Thank you.
22 again.
Oh, you say the sweetest things, you. You say the sweetest
What's
things.
What's going on in the entertainment scene?
53 degrees north, put my teeth in there, which is currently taking place until Sunday at various places around Hull city centre. There's been a couple of conferences over the last couple of days looking into the future of the music industry and how it can elevate and inspire up-and-coming artists.
And there is a lot of musical talent around, not just in Hull,
That's
but around
right.
Yorkshire and Lincolnshire as a whole.
Yeah, and of course a couple of weeks ago in Cottingham here we had our Springboard Festival, which celebrates local talent, and there's about 250 acts performing in the village. So it's good that they have a showcase.
And well, it is, and this is a place for people to show off, see how good they are, and to get a few tips from the professionals. There's an event going on at Zebedee's Yard from 6 o'clock.
It's taking place tomorrow. This is an event called A Real Proper Good Block Party, which will see 5 hours of back-to-back DJs playing a range of genres including disco, house, reggae and soul.
A real proper party.
That's the name of the
We're losing
events.
the adverb, aren't we?
Yes,
we're losing the
absolutely.
adverb.
Yeah.
You wanted to go on to something, a George Michael thing.
That's right, yes. At the Baths Hall in Scunthorpe later this month, 29th of June. It's a George Michael tribute artist by the name of Wayne Dilks, who will be performing with his 7-piece band and backing singers George Michael's catalogue of music from the early days of Wham right up to his fantastic solo songs.
Okay, very well. You're a George Michael fan?
Massive George Michael fan.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
You say that with a careless whisper.
Oh, very good.
There's a few more things going on. Let's try to go back to Hull.
Okay.
There's an exhibition of art from the Scottish colourists.
Yes, that's right, at Hull University. That opened in May and it's running until the 15th of July. So it's at the Bryn Mawr Jones Library, Scottish colourists from the Fleming collection. Okay. And it says in notes the 4 celebrated artists who were the colourists were Samuel Pepler, Francis Cadell, John Duncan Ferguson and Leslie Hunter.
No, they were a fantastic bunch. They were sort of influenced by the Impressionists, people like Manet, and I think they knew Manet. This is early 20th century we're talking here, early mid-20th century. And sort of this thing called Fauvism, which is this French movement, which means savage.
Right.
So they're pretty striking images, the Scottish colourists. Yeah. They're well worth having a look at, I think. Anyway, so yes, that's Bryn Mawr Jones Library until the 15th of July in Hull.
15th of July, that's right. And apparently there was an exhibition many years ago featuring the colourists at the Ferrens. It escaped me.
I'm afraid it missed me as well.
Escaped me.
From the sublime to the ridiculous, some mothers do have them.
Oh, yes. A stage adaptation, the first ever stage production, I hasten to add, of the classic 70s sitcom, which of course starred Michael Crawford in the role of Frank Spencer. This stage production is going to be starring Joe Pasquale in the lead role.
Well, he would do brilliant Frank
Absolutely.
Spencer.
He's very good.
Every comedian, there was a while, and every comedian thought they could do a Frank Spencer impersonation, and all they had to do was say, "Oh, Betty," and they thought the house would come down. It was absolutely hilarious.
That's right. Are you a fan of the sitcom? Do you like some of the
I did laugh, but there's a limit to my tolerance of physical quality, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
But it always struck me as a bit sad, actually.
Yeah,
True. Anyway, I'm sure this will be a great evening out, 26th to the 30th of June at Hull New Theatre. Some mothers do have them. Luke, thanks very much for coming in with those items. Here's Jack with all the sports news.
Grimsby Town have announced another new signing. The Mariners have signed former St Mirren defender Harry Davis. The 26-year-old, who helped his former side win the Scottish Championship last season, has agreed an initial one-year contract at Blundell Park. He spent 8 years at Crewe, playing more than 200 times before moving to Scotland permanently last summer. Meanwhile, Grimsby manager Michael Jolly has been speaking about next season. The Mariners boss guided the club to safety in his 10 games in charge after succeeding Russell Slade in the hot seat. Town finished the last campaign in 18th position, 5 points above the relegation zone. However, Jolly told me he's approaching next season with a fresh outlook.
What I'd say is, we start again from zero and we can't take anything for granted. We didn't have a great season last season, so we need to work really hard to do much better. But yeah, I think we can be optimistic about how competitive we'll be, but it's going to be a tough division again next year, and we certainly won't be taking anything for granted.
In Rugby League, both Hull clubs have announced their squads for the next round of Super League matches taking place tomorrow. Hull FC welcomed back Josh Westerman to the squad after an elbow injury for the game against Salford Red Devils at the KCOM Stadium. However, Black and White's trio Danny Houghton, Sika Manu and Dean Hadley will all miss tomorrow night's game. Head coach Lee Radford will also be without Mark Sneed, Josh Bowden, Josh Griffin, Fatuli Talanoa and Jordan Abdul, all through injury. Meanwhile, Hull Kingston Rovers are also in action tomorrow as they travel to face the Super League leaders St Helens. Robins coach Tim Sheens has made 3 changes to the side, which lost 42-10 to Castleford Tigers last time out. Josh Johnson, Matty Marsh and Elliot Wallace come in for Kieran Moss, Will Dagger and Aaron Smith, who is ineligible against his parents' side. And that's all for today's sport. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Jack. I didn't give Mark Morris a chance to say hello to Year 10 BTEC and Year 11. If you've a news story or any other reason to get in touch with us, Facebook and Twitter are available, or you can email news@estuary.tv or pick up the phone and call us on Grimsby 01472 31553, or you can write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East, Lincolnshire, DN 345BQ. Until tomorrow, from all of us here on the team, have a very good evening.